everybody, and welcome to the inaugural edition of Pack in Review. This is going to be a working concept, so let me just establish that right out of the gate. We posted a survey around on multiple different websites, including some larger communities like Reddit and Pojo, to see what kind of things they'd like to see in their Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic and HeroClix and everything else kind of shows. We want to expand a little bit from pack openings, because as fun as they can be to do, there's not really much to watching somebody just open packs all the time. One of the ideas that people seem to be really fond of was a pack review style series, where we take different booster packs from different games and review them based on three different things: historical significance, overall usefulness, and price. There's also the nostalgia factor, but that doesn't really factor into whether or not a pack was a success. So after we go through those three things, then we're going to give the pack a grade, and we'll do this with multiple episodes of multiple packs from multiple games. I don't know how many more times I can say multiple. However, now that we've done multiple things, let's get that out of the way and introduce you to the first pack that we'll be doing. It is a Yu-Gi-Oh! Pack, and the reason I chose this is Cyberdark Impact. And got some first edition Cyberdark Impact here too. This is widely regarded as one of, if not the worst, Yu-Gi-Oh! Sets of all time. I would actually rank it up against other trading card games as well as just one of the worst trading card based sets of all time. This was from an era where Konami was releasing Yu-Gi-Oh! Packs with 60 cards in the total set, although there were some that were available in multiple different rarities. However, there were no secret rares, and I believe, and don't quote me on this, I want to say there's like a total of 5 or 6 ultras in this set. So there were not a lot of things that you could get, and while that may not have necessarily been a deal breaker, because packs like Hidden Arsenal 1 are also 60 card sets, but they had a lot of cool cards, this is not so much. Now, the child in me remembers buying this as a kid and being extremely excited but never pulling anything. But looking back at it now, I can clearly see that it's not all I thought it was. Buying this pack physically pained my wallet. I'm pretty sure my wallet started crying before I paid for it. However, the show must go on, and so must the review. Now, Cyberdark Impact, we're going to grade on 3 different qualities, as I said. The first being historical significance. The pack came out in 2006-2007 season, I believe, although I'm going to double check that because I may have been wrong. In this pack, there are probably 2 or 3 cards that have seen any significant metagame play, those being Snipe Hunter, Instant Fusion, and Vanity's Fiend. Up until now, we can add a 4th one, which is Black Horn of Heaven. With the advent of Pendulum Summoning and that concept as a whole, Black Horn of Heaven has seen a significant rise in price, and it has also seen a lot of play in things, either the main or the side decks. That's 4 cards in total, out of 60. I don't know math off the top of my head, but that is not a good percentage. However, the cards in the set, certain cards like the Cyberdark cards, which are on the cover there, that's Cyberdark Dragon, do have a nostalgic factor, being that they were used by Zane in Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, and anyone who was a fan of the series at the time thought it was cool to have these cards. That being said, there weren't a lot of Elemental Hero cards or anything like that in this set, so really the Cyberdarks were the only anime-based cards you could get in here. It was mostly level cards and those Senate cards, or the Sene, however you pronounce it. They're based on moving themselves to different zones and stuff. Honestly, it was a really uninspired set as a whole. So, historical significance, we have Black Horn of Heaven, we have Vanity's Fiend, and Instant Fusion. Then, the only other one would be, Snipe Hunter, which for a while was actually on the ban list, but now barely sees any play at all. Cool card, one of my personal favorites, however, doesn't really have that much to it. On a grade scale of 1 to 5, I will give this set a 2 for historical significance, as 3 out of 60 cards still see play. Nearly, I believe, almost 8 years after the set's initial release. So do with that what you will. Now, the second one would be price-wise. Price-wise, a box of this set actually costs, I want to say, somewhere around 60 to 70 bucks, which is a lot lower than normal sets that are out of print now. Like, a box of Legend of Blue Eyes costs somewhere around 12, 13, not 12, 13, I'm sorry, 120, 130. Forgive me, I'm not perfect with these facts yet, but we'll get there. As I said, this is the inaugural edition. This is where I'm going to test things and see what goes wrong, and then you guys yell at me in the comments, and I'll learn what not to do in the next ones. However, box packs are all cheap. It's not like they're hard to find or anything like that. Black Horn of Heaven, as a rare, ranges between 9 to 15 bucks, depending on whether or not it's first ed or unlimited. The ultimate rare, which is also available in this, but obviously extremely hard to pull, has peaked around 50, but I believe has settled more now to like 35, 40 bucks if you can find one in first edition and in relatively mint condition. Other than that, even Vanity's Fiend, which also comes as an ultimate rare, really only gauges a price of around 15 to 20 at max. Instant Fusion is a $1 common, and it's been reprinted in other sets where it's got foil, so I don't even really count that as part of the conversation because it doesn't really have any worth. I think it's possible that the ultimate rare Cyberdark cards are worth maybe $5-6 if you can find the right person that's looking for them. But as a whole, there's really nothing in the set other than Black Horn of Heaven, which really commands value. And Black Horn of Heaven is also available in Legendary Collection Joey's World and Legendary Collection Yugi's World as foils, plus dual terminal, which means unless you really, really, really want to be a rarity whore and bling out your deck with an ultimate rare version of it, you're probably better off just trying to get the cheaper ones. I think you can get 3 secrets for about the same price as you would pay for one ultimate first ed. So make of that what you will. As for overall metagame contributions, as I mentioned, Black Horn of Heaven is a very prominent card now. Now that Solemn Warning is limited and Solemn Judgment is banned, Black Horn of Heaven is an effective counter to Xyz, Synchros, Pendulums, and it really doesn't have a cost. It's just the one, you activate it, you negate the summon, simple as that. It's a cool card. It was overlooked for a long time because there were better options, but now it's really come to the forefront as one of the best counter traps in the game. So I suppose you can say that it does have an awesome use, but that's only one card. Instant Fusion does have a lot of potential with that Elder God Nodin that comes out in the it's a Korean exclusive in Primal Origins. It's one of those fusion monsters that does all sorts of shenanigans with Instant Fusion. It's quite possible we could be seeing that as a semi-staple if and when we actually ever get that card here. But until then, I really can't say that Instant Fusion is really doing anything significant right now outside of maybe like a Tekken card Curry decks. And finally, of course, Vanity's Fiend is, a side card in Frog Monarchs at best, but with Majesty's Fiend that just came out and Vanity's Emptiness also being prominent, it's not really necessary like it once was. So we're really just looking at Black Horn of Heaven, because I don't think anyone's playing the Sine cards, and I don't think anyone's playing Cyberdarks competitively. Although they are a fun casual deck if you can build them right. So, historical significance, we gave it a 2. Price-wise, I'm probably going to give it a 2. And contributions to the meta, I would really give it a 1, because really only 1 out of 60 cards in the set sees play. However, due to the increased use of Black Horn of Heaven, I think I'll give it a 2. That's a 6 out of 30. And broken down becomes a 1 out of 5, which becomes about 20%, which is an F if we're grading on a letter grade scale. Therefore, as I said, the worst pack, arguably, although some could say Numbers Hunters, but the worst core set ever released in Yu-Gi-Oh! And I would put this up against Magic, Pokemon, and maybe I will. I'll have to look into it a little bit more and see what's regarded as the worst Pokemon set of all time and the worst Magic set of all time, and do some research on it, and we'll do a comparison and we'll see where they match up with grades. But Cyberdark Impact is terrible. It's an awful set with a couple of decent cards, and that's about all it has going for it. As a kid, I loved it because I was a big fan of the show. Looking back at it now, I just think about how much money I spent on it and really, really want to cry. With that being said, and a letter grade of F, which is actually more gracious than I thought I was going to be when the video started, I do have a pack here to open, and as I did buy one. So my hope here, since I can't return this, is that I can crack this open and maybe, just maybe, get something that will make this pack redeem itself to me. But unless I open this up and pull a Black Horn of Heaven Ultimate Rare, I don't really see that being the case. But without further ado, since we're less than a minute remaining on this video, let's crack it open and see what we can find. And that is Cyberdark Impact, first edition booster pack. The worst set of all time. Straight Flush, that's what I want to do with this pack. Stray Asmodean. Instant Fusion, that's not bad. Man Beast of Heirs, and Combo Master. That's a terrible card. And we got Alien Mars, Sine Switch, Queen's Bodyguard, and Corruption Cell A. Yeah, so that was that. That was our pack. It's $4 I'll never get back. Yeah. Fuck you, Cyberdark Impact. So to recap, Cyberdark Impact gets a 20% or a 1 out of 5 from me, and therefore we give it an F grade, just in time for finals, where many people will be hoping to perform better on their exams than Cyberdark Impact did on its. My name is Braden, you're watching Loveshack TCG, and this was the premiere edition of Pack in Review. Please leave us comments below and let us know what you'd like to see done differently and what you did like, and I promise you some point in the future we'll be back with another installment. Thank you guys for watching.